It's 5 o'clock. News 10 starts now.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John McLoughlin.
And I'm Tracy Egan with the top 10 stories of the day. In Michigan, a 6-year-old girl has died after being shot by her first-grade classmate who brought a gun to school this morning. It happened in Mount Morris Township near Flint. The 6-year-old suspect is in custody. 20 other students were in the classroom when the gun went off. Police are trying to determine if the shooting was accidental or intentional. A full report in a few minutes.
An Albany man stabbed his neighbor to death today after police say she broke into his home. 61-year-old Barry Manning used a hunting knife to stab 56-year-old Juliana Kerrigan inside his Rosemary Drive home. Now, Albany police say it appears that Kerrigan was suffering from psychological problems. At this point, no charges are pending against Manning.
Senator Joe Bruno and his Republican majority want to restore the $1,000 personal income tax exemption for all New Yorkers. It was eliminated during the Cuomo administration, and it would be part of a $1.7 billion tax relief program being advanced by the GOP lawmakers.
And two more primaries today for Republican presidential contenders John McCain and George W. Bush. Republicans are casting their votes in Virginia and Washington state. Recent polls have McCain trailing Bush by 10 to 12 percentage points in Virginia and about even with him in Washington state.
In Germany, police say 3 U.S. teenagers will face murder charges for 2 women. They say the teenagers, children of military personnel, threw heavy stones from a highway overpass last night, striking passing motorists. The women, a 20-year-old and a 41-year-old, were killed minutes apart when their cars crashed. Prosecutors say the 3 confessed.
Suspected serial killer Angel Resendez will use insanity as a defense. That from his lawyers, who have had a psychiatrist analyzing him since his arrest last July. Resendez is accused of killing 8 people who lived along railway lines in the South. Jury selection starts in 3 weeks.
As of tomorrow, New York's cigarette tax climbs 55 cents to $1.11, which will be the highest in the nation. Part of the revenue from the tax increase will pay for a public relations campaign to discourage smoking.
The surviving relatives of people who were allegedly killed by doctors' mistakes showed a united front today in Albany. They were lobbying for Lisa's Law. That's legislation that would make physician profiles more accessible to patients. They say the information would help to reduce medical mishaps in New York State.
More aircraft are being sent to help rescue victims of severe flooding in Mozambique. Helicopter crews have rescued thousands of people from the rising waters, but thousands more are feared dead. The floods, considered the worst in many years, have left some 200,000 people homeless.
The Dow Jones Industrial continues to snap back from last week's sell-off. The Dow gained 89.5 points today to end at 10,128. NASDAQ resumed its leadership role, closing to another record high. It ended the day up nearly 119 points.
Now more details on tonight's top story, another school shooting. This time it involves first-grade students at an elementary school. A 6-year-old girl is dead. A 6-year-old boy is in custody. The tragedy unfolded this morning at an elementary school near Flint, Michigan. Liz Cho has the story.
Happened at Buell Elementary School just before 10 o'clock this morning. The victim, a 6-year-old girl, shot and killed inside her classroom, allegedly by a fellow classmate.
I ran up here and everything. They telling me I can't go in, but somebody shot up in here, got shot. That's all they telling us.
After the shooting, the school was immediately locked down. Children were taken to a nearby church as parents rushed to school to make sure their children were unharmed.
It's happening everywhere. You know, you never think it was going to come to your hometown. It's here.
Investigators say it is still not clear what happened. What is known is that the gun was stolen. Police are questioning the boy, who says he brought the gun into school early this morning.
The young suspect had brought the gun to school in his trousers pants pocket.
Investigators are not sure if the shooting is accidental, but say the 2 children may have had a scuffle on the playground yesterday. In the meantime, prosecutors say they are not planning to charge the boy.
There's a presumption that a child 6 years old is not criminally responsible and cannot form the intent to kill necessary to have a criminal prosecution.
Police say they have as many as 30 witnesses to interview, hoping any new information will shed some light as to what happened inside that classroom. Liz Cho, ABC News, Mount Morris Township.
In reaction to the incident at a fundraiser in Florida this afternoon, President Clinton said the shooting might not have happened if the gun had a child safety lock. He called on Congress to require all handguns in the U.S. to be equipped with locks to prevent their use by children. John?
Tracy, also making news tonight, Albany police say a 56-year-old woman was stabbed to death after breaking into her neighbor's home. That ordeal took place early this morning at 8 Rosemary Drive in Albany, and News 10's Sara Welch has the details.
The bizarre break-in ended with the stabbing of 56-year-old Juliana Kerrigan.
But yeah, she seemed disturbed and confused, yeah. But she was a nice lady, always waving to people, this and that.
Investigators say the Albany woman smashed the front window of 8 Rosemary Circle with a bowling pin, waking the family sleeping inside.
And everything subsequent to that happened in a couple minutes.
Through the broken glass, Albany police say a woman inside the house hit Kerrigan with a stick. Police say Kerrigan tried to get in the front door and then made her way inside through this side entrance.
And broke one of the small window panes, got inside the house. She lit some paper on fire.
Then, after a brief struggle,
and she was subsequently stabbed in the abdomen and died inside.
Police say the homeowner, 61-year-old Barry Manning, stabbed Kerrigan with a hunting knife. This is video of Manning in the same room where the stabbing allegedly occurred. We interviewed Manning 9 years ago when his son went off to the Gulf War. Investigators say Kerrigan may have been suffering from psychological problems.
She wasn't mentally stable, from what I've seen.
Residents along Rosemary Drive remember Kerrigan often wandered the neighborhood.
Seems like it apparently seems she has nothing to do. She's always walking the dog. It can be either 2 in the morning. She's still walking the dog back and forth. You know, I guess that's her only outlet.
Kerrigan lives on Rosemary Circle, directly behind Manning's home. Police are looking into whether Kerrigan tried to get into other homes in the past.
Her house, I think, is directly behind this house here. So she could have been confused trying to get into the wrong house. Very unfortunate situation. Yeah.
Albany police say the investigation is ongoing, but right now it appears that Manning was acting in self-defense, and at this time no charges are pending. Neighbors along the street say it's just a tragedy for both families. We'll have more coming up at 6 tonight. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Sara Welch.
Yeah, very tragic story, Sara. Thank you.
After the break, we'll be going out live to Steve Caporizzo. He's in Colonie for the big chili cook-off. He'll also have the forecast, of course.
Kathie Lee, she makes a very surprising announcement today. You'll hear what it is in People, Places, and Things later in the program.
Live, John McLoughlin, Tracy Egan, and Chief Meteorologist Steve Caporizzo. News 10 at 5 o'clock will continue.
We report to you.
Coming up, Chief Meteorologist Steve Caporizzo with your exclusive Doppler weather forecast.
Meteorologist Steve Caporizzo joins us live from the Holiday Inn Turf on Wolf Road in Colonie. He's there for the big Chili Fest cook-off.
20 restaurants participating to benefit the American Lung Association. Steve?
This is always a great fundraiser because you're helping out a wonderful organization, the American Lung Association of Northeastern New York, and you get a chance to sample some of the best restaurants in upstate New York and check out all different kinds of chili. And we'll be sampling one in just a little bit. It goes until 8:30 tonight, so if you're scratching your head wondering what you should do for dinner tonight, come on down to the Holiday Inn Turf. $10 at the door, basically all you can eat, all the chili you want to eat. And then by later tonight, you'll probably regret that. Let's check the forecast for this evening. We're expecting mostly clear skies, 30 to 35. Tonight, a colder night, teens to low 20s, but up north, up in Hamilton County, where there's still a little bit of snow left, near 10 degrees. And tomorrow, some morning sun followed by afternoon clouds, 47 to 53. And your 5-day forecast will have some showers Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then turning colder. A high 42 on Thursday, but dropping. Could even be some flurries in the afternoon. Friday and Saturday, partly sunny in the mid to upper 30s, so a shot of more seasonable weather. And Sunday looks okay, partly sunny and 42. Want to remind you that tomorrow night we have our Weather School Forum. We will be out in Amsterdam beginning at 7 o'clock at the Bacon School. Andy will be there, Melissa, yours truly, so stop on by. McDonald's will have all kinds of goodies for everybody that stops by to learn a little bit more about weather and weather forecasting. All right, we're at Ravenswood Pub. They're from Clifton Park. And Mark Wilson here, the chef. Mark, first year here, the pressure's on because you know the chili is top-notch here at the Holiday Inn Turf. What do you got? Tell us about the chili that you guys have cooked up tonight.
Well, just basically, you know, your basic chili. I'm going for flavor, best flavor, and kind of hottest. I tried one of them.
It is a spicier one?
It's a little spicy. Not so it would burn the back of your throat, but it's got a, you know, sweet and a hot flavor to it, and hopefully we'll take the gold.
Well, I hope you do. I mean, that looks absolutely delicious, and that's just one of 19 area restaurants that are here. We'll be sampling some of the other great food for you, other great chili, a little bit later in the newscast. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks. Send some home. Well, our check of the News 10 News Zone starts tonight in Putney, Vermont, where a young girl has been suspended for setting 5 separate fires at her school. The fires were set in trash cans in 2 girls' dorms at Putney School Sunday afternoon. Smoke triggered alarms, and students and staff put out the flames. Fortunately, no one was injured. In Williamstown, Massachusetts, smoking has been outlawed in restaurants, but bars can still permit smoking as long as the owner follows new, more stringent health guidelines. A bar that continues smoking must now have a fully enclosed designated smoking area. And no smoking whatsoever is permitted until after 6 p.m. Starting April 1st in New York, people who illegally park in handicapped parking spaces will have to pay an extra $30 surcharge on top of existing fines. That money will go into education or public awareness programs to teach people about handicapped parking laws.
Senator Bruno is proposing a fairly substantial tax cut, but who will it benefit? That's the topic for the hot seat coming up next.
But first, we take a look at the day's final numbers from Wall Street.
Question, answer, getting right to the point. Newsmakers in the know on the hot seat.
Well, as we told you earlier, Senator Joe Bruno announcing a proposal today for a $1.7 billion tax cut. A major part of that tax relief would be restoration of the personal income tax exemption that was eliminated during the Cuomo administration. Joining us tonight to discuss those cuts, Jason Brooks, statewide coordinator for Change New York. His group recently has been running television ads attacking Governor Pataki for raising taxes. Mr. Brooks, thanks for coming in tonight. Those ads, what's the deal with them? They surprised and even shocked a lot of people. You were Governor Pataki's, Change New York, his big supporters.
Well, the governor started off on the right foot by cutting taxes early on. And beginning last year, he became a tax hiker. With the passage of HICRA, he increased taxes by $400 million. In his budget this year, he proposed increasing spending by over twice the rate of inflation. He proposed a tax on water, and also his appointees to the state thruway proposed hiking tolls statewide as well.
Senator Bruno's got a proposal, not the one he's talking about today, but he's got $360 million that he wants to use for HICRA so that the counties don't have to pick up that money. They don't have to spend that kind of money. I would assume that you back that, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's something that you would push, you would be in support of.
Well, we oppose any unfunded mandate, and that's exactly what this is. It's passing along $350 million to the counties, and now they're forced to come up with the difference. The hardworking New York State residents are going to be forced to pay for this. It may come to them as property taxes. What
is the goal right now of Change New York when it comes to Governor Pataki? You want him to get back with the program, or you want to see him pushed out the door at this point and bring in someone new who makes tax-cutting promises?
We don't care who it is as long as they're promoting the correct policies. I think the governor could easily get back to his old ways and benefit the taxpayers of New York State. New York State still remains one of the highest, has the highest taxes in the country, and the governor has the power to move forward and do something about that.
Which of the presidential candidates on the GOP side is Change New York leaning towards? George Pataki's candidate, George W. Bush, or McCain?
We really don't take positions and endorse candidates.
Who would be better for taxes?
I really don't have a position on that. We just want to see New Yorkers and the American people benefit from lower taxes.
The governor's office right now is taking a look and see on Senator Bruno's tax cut package today. But the governor has said over recent weeks that he wants to make sure we have reserves. He wants to make sure that we pay down the debt. Do you quarrel with that? Is there anything wrong with that at all?
We have no problem with paying down the debt, but there are no broad-based tax proposals coming out of the governor's office right now. Bruno's proposal was great because an exemption on personal income tax rates benefits all New York State residents.
Have you seen any signs that your campaigns where you say, you know, you fall and you say the governor's trying to tax water now, and you hit him for trying to do business with people to put gambling in the Catskills next to Monticello Raceway? Have you seen any signs that his administration is responding to those attacks?
Well, certainly. The morning that we started running the water tax ad, that very morning, he repealed his proposal to put forth the water tax. So that's the quickest turnaround we've ever seen. As far as the
well, now, Senator Bruno and the Assembly Speaker, they were on top of him on that, too. We should mention.
Certainly. Okay. But it was the very morning that we began running the ads, is the morning that he repealed the proposal. Also, his appointees to the State Thruway Authority, they've also backed down on their proposal to hike fees on the tolls. Okay, Jason Brooks from Change New York, we thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you. Okay.
Coming up, Kathie Lee gives Regis her final answer.
Celine, she takes
Now, from near and far, from us to you, the people, places, and things in the news.
Kathie Lee Gifford tops our People in the News. The talk show Maven called it quits this morning on Live with Regis and Kathie Lee.
Yeah, it's leap day, all right. So,
well, in honor of leap day, I guess I'll just take the leap. It's a nice segue, don't you think?
Yeah, smooth as could be.
This is a day I knew was coming for a long, long time, but I didn't know exactly when it would be. But I'm announcing today that I'm going to be leaving our show. Oh, I was hoping you'd do that.
She went on to tell her stunned audience and co-host Regis Philbin that she would not come back for a 12th year. When Philbin asked if she was kidding, Kathie Lee said no. The announcement comes a day after it was reported that Regis is negotiating a $20 million deal to stay with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Celine Dion is suing the National Enquirer for $20 million for falsely reporting that she's pregnant with twins. Dion says the Enquirer reported bad information and implied the tabloid in an interview. The recently retired singer also says she's suffered from the embarrassment of telling people who've congratulated her that she is not pregnant.
I sent her a shower gift. Japan, Casio has introduced the world's smallest digital camera and the smallest audio player. In fact, they're so small, folks, they're worn on the wrist like a watch. Remember Dick Tracy? With the click of a tiny switch, the black and white photographic image appears on the watch face, and it can store up to 100 images at a time. Those images then can be transmitted, that is, to personal computers. These watches will be available in the U.S. starting in May at prices ranging from $210 to $240. It's exciting.
Not very expensive.
No, but exciting nonetheless.
For all that.
Yes.
I like that idea. Well, it's Leap Day, and single women, that can mean but one thing. It's time to propose.
And Mr. M.O.S. is next.
Mr. M.O.S. is sponsored by Huck Finn's Warehouse and More.
This being February 29th, Leap Day, it means all sorts of things to people that like an extra day of work, Sadie Hawkins Day, Leap Day birthdays.
And Leap Day is the topic for tonight's Mr. M.O.S.
I wasn't even aware of it until 5 minutes ago when my boss talked to me about it.
Your boss talked to you about Leap Day?
Yeah. He said it's the first time in 400 years or something that a leap year ends in 00.
You know you work an extra day because of Leap Day?
No, I did not know that.
You got to work an extra day this year.
Really?
Well, of course.
That stinks.
That means that you're working an extra day this year. Did you know that?
I need to talk to my boss about that.
You have any special observances today for Leap Day?
I'm going to send my sister an electronic Leap Day card.
Any thoughts on Leap Day at all? You doing anything special to mark Leap Day?
I'm already married, so I can't propose marriage to anybody.
It means like Sadie Hawkins Day?
Yes.
That's what it does to me.
The women had the prerogative to ask you out on a date.
On Leap Day?
On Leap Day.
So every 4 years you got a date?
You got to run like hell, you know.
But I heard of one woman this morning on the radio that
was born on Leap Day?
Yes, and she was 9 years old.
Yeah, don't you love it when they play that little joke?
Yes, I do.
She's 36. Yes. It's a great joke, isn't it?
Yes.
Stupid.
Very stupid.
It's interesting how they divide it by 400 every year that ends in 00.
Yeah, Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
He started it all.
Yeah.
I don't know how he figured it out, but he started it. You know you have to work an extra day because of Leap Day?
That's true. I never thought about that.
You think you might call in sick like later in the year just to get even for Leap Day?
Probably. But not just to get even for Leap Day, just probably.
You will anyway.
Anyways, probably.
What about Leap Day, though? I mean, any thoughts on it at all?
No thoughts, John.
You don't have any thoughts about it at all?
No, and I think it must be a pretty boring day if this is all you can come up with today.
It won't be that bad, okay, once I get rid of you. I'm only kidding. Just kidding. I know him. I'm only kidding.
I liked it.
Yes, that is our news for tonight, folks. Remember to report a news story. Call 1-800-888-WTEN.
And for comments, call 433-4200. Now, News 10 continues.